Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Early on in the pandemic, I actually had a very different attitude about quiet quitting. I was glad everybody else was quiet quitting and leaving less competition for me. You got to remember, this quiet quit movement started, if I remember correctly, in early 2021 when people were first trying to return to the office. There were still a lot of expanded unemployment benefits programs, and a lot of people were upset that these quiet quitters were taking those benefits and leaving their jobs. And I was thinking, great, don't compete with me, that's great. Unfortunately, when people started to return after those benefits ended, I came to realize that I wasn't getting the benefit of that anymore, and in fact, everybody was giving me all the odd tasks that they didn't want to do, all the odd hours they didn't want. I was working at a technical college, and oftentimes I would fill in for all these other people's quiet quits. I wasn't getting the benefit of that anymore. And it wasn't like I was being rewarded in some other way, right? Don't get me wrong. There are definitely things that are much more available to do. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem to reciprocate, right? So for example, I was talking to a friend about this, and my friend says next time I pick up an odd shift to say, yeah, I'll take this, but can I have like next Friday off? The problem is the stuff I want off isn't usually immediate, right? I want the next lunar eclipse off, which might be 12 months from now, right? They're not going to remember that. Or I wish there was some kind of an account that I could put it into a safe deposit box somewhere that I helped out on all these things, right? Unfortunately, by the time I want to see the lunar eclipse, people have come and gone, they've quiet quit, they've rage quit. It never seems to work out, right? Anyways, but all of that changed a year ago today. June 4th is Alicia Janazzi's birthday. She's the first place winner of Polish Idol Season 1. And in honor of her, last year I decided to do an intermittent fast. I didn't do fasting this year because I'm just recovering from COVID-19, and definitely some foods could help with my sinuses. And also I stayed on my no-fap journey. This year today I'm day 3 into no-fap. And I was living out of my car last year today. And it was very challenging with the no-fap going on. Usually fapping puts me to sleep. That's a big reason why I often relapse, is I need to go to sleep. I wasn't about to do that last year because out of respect for her, I used to fantasize about her a lot. And to give you an idea of how much I fantasized her when I fapped, when I was in college, I sold some sperm a couple of times. I only got like a $5 gift card each time. It really wasn't worth my time. But sometimes when I think back at the possibility of my children out there, I often think of them as being half Polish, because I fantasized about Alicia Janazzi when I was producing that sperm. And so in my mind, she's like the mother of those children. And when I meet my children someday, I might be shocked to find that they're some different race, right? That's how much I used to fantasize about her. And so out of respect for Alicia Janazzi, I stayed off fapping a year ago. In fact, I stayed off fapping for quite a bit of time that time around, if I remember correctly. And I couldn't sleep. I tossed and turned. It was 90 degrees in the car. And then a couple months later, I called off the next day because I just can't sleep. I explained that we have no air conditioning at home, which was kind of true, except it was kind of bending the truth, right? Now, what was really nice was that I had a coworker who said she could loan me an air conditioning unit that I could put on my window, and I took a look at it. It doesn't quite fit my living situation. Also kind of the truth, although bending it a little bit, right? So that was great. Now, a couple months later, I was working at a different place when my coworker said that she had some home repair emergencies. A water pipe had burst, asked if I could fill it. I was still living out of my car at that time. I went to the campus without thinking much of it, got off campus, got into my car, and then it hit me. Did I hear what I just heard? my coworker who owns a $2 million piece of property in Bellevue needs my help from somebody who lives out of their car so they can tend to their home. And it just felt unfair, if you will. And not only is it, I talked about this in the last video, it's one thing to have disparity, right? That she has a home and I live out of it. That's fine. Where it really hurts is that I have to go to work and compete with her. And so it just compounds, and then have to fill in for her, right? And so, meanwhile, my mental health going to see the lunar eclipse so that I could be productive and someday save up to buy that house doesn't matter, right? That's the kind of playing field that I play with all the time, right? Anyway, so today marks a year since I first went on my quiet quitting mission. It's also Elisa Genazzi's 38th birthday. Happy birthday to her.